Hello and welcome to Creature Club. It's a weekly podcast where we only are allowed to talk about dragons. As always, we are talking about dragons. This week on Dragons, I'm joined by the dragon, Mikey DC.
How's it going? I am the Dragon of Dublin, Mikey DC.
I would have gone with Dorky, but okay.
Dragon of Dorky, shit.
And the dragon, Tim Porter.
Hello, I am the Dragon of Atlanta, Tim Porter.
As always, forever, we'll be talking about dragons, the only monsters that exist in the game Dungeons & Dragons. That's why it's one half of the name. What dragons are we talking about this week, boys?
Today, we will be talking about dragons of gold.
Dragons of gold.
It's like chariots of fire,
Of gold.
except it's dragons of gold. I did it. I told the
Do you
best
know?
joke.
Do you know gold?
No.
The dragon is gold.
Okay.
Okay. So far, this is probably the worst opening Creature Club ever. So we're just gonna. That's right. So we are
Get
talking
in front
about.
of it.
We're going through the metallic dragons, and right now it is the gold dragon.
Yes.
Which is, I think, kind of more like the, for lack of a better way of saying it, kind of the head of the metallic dragons. Do you guys agree with me on that one?
Yeah.
I would agree, yeah.
Kind of like, as you would see, the red dragon being one of the heads of the chromatic dragons. The gold dragons are the head of the metallic dragons in kind of that way.
Indeed.
You know.
I mean, gold is, as we have said in the previous episodes, it's revered through like all cultures. It's used as currency. It's used as a sign of affluence and all kinds of richness and
wealth
prosperity.
And purity, because it doesn't tarnish. And
Yep.
you know, obviously the alchemists wanted to turn base metals into gold, which was kind of seen as a higher form of metal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has a lot of connotations in history.
Cat piss was the closest they came.
Cat pits. Yeah, it's not the first time we talked about cat pits on this episode.
And, you know, in fairness,
in this show.
I mean, yeah, and obviously gold is useful nowadays, not just as jewelry, but it's also a very efficient conductor of electricity.
Yes, indeed.
Which means it gets used a lot in computer components.
Yeah.
It's also a great reflector of heat.
Yes.
Which is why the original McLaren F1 was, its entire engine casing was lined with gold leaf to reflect the
Fucking
heat.
hell, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's
Isn't that
pretty
crazy? That's why
That
it's
is
worth
crazy.
over €1 million /dollars.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, if it's fucking full of
That's
gold.
a lot of euro
One of the
dollars.
Yeah, Euro dollars.
Euro
European
dollars.
dollars.
Yeah.
The currency of the future. Welcome to the year 2040.
Yeah.
So gold
Go ahead.
dragons in the real world. There are, like, I've been setting up this episode
what?
to be the lore dump.
There's
Sorry.
gold dragons in the real world?
Yeah, right.
I apologize. I just the way you
Real-
phrase that, it's like
Real world
what the
mythology. I have one right here with me.
I've got him on the air with me.
I'm surprising you guys, but there is a gold dragon in the studio right now, and we're going to have him on later on the show. So
Yes, we didn't introduce him as we introduced ourselves as the hosts, but our special guest this episode is a real-life gold dragon.
hey guys, I'm a gold dragon. Good to be on the show. Oh, I got to go. See ya.
Oh, there he
Oh,
goes.
that's
Sad. That's sad.
It was
He's gone.
good of him
That
to
is
drop by
unfortunate.
just to have
yeah,
a
even
feature.
even just for the authenticity of it. I mean,
Yeah,
Very,
there
he's
you
very
go.
busy. He's really
probably
busy.
very busy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Busy. Like you
almost
can't hold it
as
against
busy
him.
as Vincent Price in the previous episode that we had him on.
Oh yeah. It was incredible that we
Nice callback.
we got him on at all. Honestly.
Yeah, pretty incredible. So
fair
anyway,
play to him, you know? for a dead man, he works hard. Like
Yeah.
so the gold dragons throughout mythological history, I have been setting up this episode as one to basically laud about how great the world has been about treating its golden dragons with great respect and honor, and it turns out there's not really any, bar the golden dragon in Chinese mythology, which is Shenlong or Ao Guang, who is the dragon king of the East China Sea, and that's the only very specifically gold dragon that I could find in my research that I did. There's plenty of gold dragon references in all kinds of stuff in modern world. We have a Sierra Leonean football team called the Gold Dragons. There is also a fish called the golden dragonfish, which does not breathe fire or fly or do any of the things you'd expect of a golden dragon. Bit of a misnomer there, but sure, there you go.
And the main villain, the main antagonist of Yakuza 2, Ryuju Goda, has a gold dragon on his back.
Perfect.
There we go. That's all. That's all I have.
Wasn't there a golden dragon in The Witcher as well? I can't remember its name.
Yes,
I remember.
that's
well,
right.
he was in the TV show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look up his name just so we can.
Might be a spoiler, though, so...
Okay, I won't say his name.
but there is.
There is a golden dragon in the Witcher universe. Or I think I actually, when I did my research, I found there was like...
Is it Henry Cavill?
Yes, he is the golden dragon.
Is there just a scene where like they give him like gold body paint and he just sort of like
Yeah, there's like...
comes at
there's,
the camera. Ah!
there's the actual Witcher, whatever his name is, I can't even remember. And then there's Henry Cavill in the world as an actual golden dragon.
Henry Cavill is the gold dragon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, I'm the Witcher, and I'm Henry Cavill. We are
Dragon.
the Witcher TV show.
Right. Hello, I'm the Witcher from TV show The Witcher.
And I'm Henry Cavill, actor from the TV show The Witcher.
Oh, it's so dumb. Anyway.
I think actually by listening through these Dragon episodes, I think we have just been losing it
Gradually.
even
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
gradually every episode.
I think the sort of the Venn diagram of like you've been locked in the house for months and the only thing you're allowed to talk about is dragons is sort of like a pressure cooker. Like
Yeah, very much.
we're kind of getting caught in these two big gears and we're just getting squished by it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot. But we're still maintaining our professionalism as much as we can. We do get eventually to talking about the dragons.
I'm
D&D.
pretty sure our personal place in hell is going to be a little room where we have to record an episode on dragons for eternity.
I'm actually going to tell you guys the truth. Our personal place in hell is if we have to do the second edition core book because it has 5 gem dragons and 3 miscellaneous dragons that, thank God, we do not have to cover.
Oh, Lord.
Miscellaneous dragons.
Yeah.
They have missile anuses?
Nice one.
Yes.
Nice one.
Yes, Tim. Yeah.
Nice, Tim.
They have miscellaneouses.
Well, at some point we're going to have to record a show, so let's do it.
I mean, do we have to? Or
I guess.
we're not getting paid. Like
That's what people are doing here.
Yes, we are. We are talking this week about the Gold Dragon, and as I have already hinted with my mention of the second edition book, the Gold Dragon has appeared in every edition of the Monster Manual since D&D began. Interestingly enough, it actually showed up in the first ever D&D monster manual effectively. Back then, I think it's, oh God, I'd have to figure out which one it is. I think it's in Basic. In Basic, and this is something that I actually initially got wrong, it doesn't actually have 10 dragons, it has 6. And it is each of the chromatic dragons and then the gold dragon. And the gold dragon is the only metallic dragon initially. And the gold dragon is just present as a foil because all the chromatic dragons retain a lot of their personality. They're all basically evil, avaricious dragons. And the gold dragon is their foil. The gold dragon is the good, orderly dragon who is sort of more likely to be on the side of the players.
Nice.
And in many ways, that's the personality, the sort of attributes that they've kept throughout the editions. So they're cool, nice people. In the first edition of the Monster Manual, we see all gold dragons are lawful, just, and good. They are able to assume the form of animals or the guise of humanity. They can polymorph themselves without harm. It is in some other form that they are typically encountered. In the second edition book, we see gold dragons are wise, judicious, and benevolent. They often embark on self-appointed quests to promote goodness and are not easily distracted from them. They hate injustice and foul play. In the third edition book, weirdly enough, I just noticed the third edition book this time has slightly different lore, slightly different writing rather than being copied and pasted. So maybe some of them got a different treatment and I was wrong when I said it's all copied. Gold dragons are graceful, sinuous, and wise. They hate injustice and foul play, often embarking on self-appointed quests to promote good. And then the fourth edition book, again, we've kind of talked about this before. Fourth edition doesn't talk as much necessarily about the personality of dragons, at least in the Monster Manual. As I said, there's a book called Dragonomicon that can tell you more about who dragons are, what they do. But in terms of gold dragons, it talks about how gold dragons act in a fight and what sort of things they like, but it certainly doesn't imply anything about the dragon's morality. It doesn't say whether they're good or evil. It merely says that they tend to take control of societies by virtue of being so powerful, which,
Sure.
isn't necessarily good or evil, but it's certainly a means of conflict.
Indeed. One thing that has been consistent across all editions that I can see is its mustache that I mentioned in the previous episode. So I'm very glad that at least something that I said holds up.
Yeah, actually, that's very true. It is, and it also originally took on the appearance of like what might be considered like a Chinese dragon, like the sort of long, almost more snake-like dragon.
Yeah, the serpentine.
Yeah, exactly. More like a serpentine dragon. Although it changed, it went from second to third. The third edition dragon is more like the dragon we see now.
Indeed.
Again, if you are interested, the third edition Monster Manual has a fantastic scale illustration of the dragon that I really like all of these.
Yeah.
I think they do a great job of capturing the whole creature, and also I like how the dragon's almost always in movement. It's almost always lifting one leg as if it's about to walk somewhere, which I kind of like. There's sort of an activity there that you don't see in other illustrations as much. In a lot of other illustrations, they're kind of at rest.
Yeah.
Or there's the drawing in this. I mean, like I think in the 5th edition book, they're literally like, they're just standing there.
Doing the kind of over-the-shoulder kind of glamour look.
Yeah.
Get my good side.
What I like about the design on the 5th edition is, and probably all the other ones, because of the mustache, looks kind of like a old wizard beard, so it kind of shows him as like the older and wiser of all the metallic dragons.
Has the kind of Fu Manchu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Good design. Shall we read in general? You want us to read?
I can't read.
You can't read, that's fine. I will read for you, Daniel.
Thank you.
I can't wear the ring, but I can carry you. Or I can't carry the ring.
No, I can't wear the ring, but I can carry you up this ladder so you can have a go on the slide. That's the quote.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if that was recorded, was it?
Welcome to chaos, Frodo.
Whoa, wait, yeah, I don't know if that was recorded.
It might have been. I hope it is.
That's just a joke for you guys.
Yeah,
it's fine.
That, yeah, just make each other laugh. All right, I shall read, and then you guys can read in your own time.
Yeah, Daniel will learn while you're reading.
I can't wait to learn how to read, boys.
No, it's easy. You just learn as you go. Really, that's kind of it.
Yeah, cool. I believe you.
It's like jazz. You just kind of make it up as you go along.
It's about the letters you don't put in.
Yeah. The most powerful and majestic of metallic dragons, gold dragons are dedicated foes of evil. A gold dragon has sagacious face. Sagacious, is that right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know, I'm sorry.
I don't know what that word means.
That's right, you can't read. Sorry. A gold dragon has a sagacious face anointed with flexible spines that resemble whiskers, that's the beard. Its horns sweep back from its nose and brow, echoing twin frills that adorn its long neck. A gold dragon's sail-like wings start at its shoulders and trace down to the tip of its tail, letting it fly with a distinctive rippling motion as if swimming through the air. A gold dragon warbling has scales of dark yellow with metallic flecks. Those flecks grow larger as the dragon matures. As a gold dragon ages, its pupils fade until its eyes resemble pools of molten gold.
Cool.
So, once again, some nice imagery, some nice descriptions of what they look like in case you don't have the picture in front of you.
Yeah, that was very wordy. That first sentence is like a real mouthful. Gold dragon has sagacious face anointed with flexible spines that resemble whiskers.
Yeah.
Very cool, though. Always very interesting.
It's hard for writers to get paid, so it's good that they were given work here.
Yeah.
They're using their degrees here.
Yeah.
Devourer of wealth. Gold dragons can eat just about anything, but their preferred diet consists of pearls and gems. Thankfully, a gold dragon doesn't need to gorge itself on such wealth to feel satisfied. Gifts of treasure that it can consume are well received by a gold dragon, as long as they aren't bribes.
So it literally eats money.
It's a gift. Wink.
It is a gift. So yeah, it's like it says it doesn't need to gorge itself on such wealth to feel satisfied, but does that mean that it does need to eat these things, but it doesn't necessarily need to eat a huge amount of it?
Or it doesn't need to, or it wants to gorge itself. But it doesn't need to.
It wants to.
No one needs to gorge themselves. But like
That's true. All things in moderation, Mikey. You're absolutely right.
People just want to, though.
You can bring it food. You can bring it its favorite snacks. Its favorite thing are pearls and gems. But presumably it would either have a stash of them or like it will have eaten them all and gone out to get more. I think I'm going to presume that it also eats other things. Like it.
I think the idea is it says it can eat just about anything, but what it prefers is pearls and gems.
Okay.
So I think we can assume that it's like opportunistic carnivore, which is basically what almost every animal on Earth is, in the sense that almost anything can digest meat, but most animals either decide it's worth it and become predators, or decide it's not and become prey animals. Like horses. Horses can eat meat, but they are like, it's a lot of work. I'll just eat grass.
That's true, yes.
See, horses are too smart. They know what's up.
Yeah.
I'll get really fast and I'll eat grass. That's it.
I'll get really fast so I can eat all that grass faster than everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll chase down all of the grass.
Famously fast moving, yeah.
Indeed, indeed.
Okay, I'm going to try reading for the first time ever, so, you know.
You can do it.
I think you can do it.
Thank you. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Reserved Chape Shifter.
Yeah.
How'd I do? Is that all right? Or...
It's a good start. It's a good start. Keep going.
Thanks.
It's actually pronounced Preserve Chapes Shifters. I think you got it wrong.
Thank you.
I think you got it right.
Thank you for correcting me.
Shifters.
There's the only way I'm going to learn.
Yeah.
Gold dragons are respected by the other metallic dragons for their wisdom and farness. How is that?
Just to answer your questions, guys at home,
no.
yes, we are doing this bit for the entire episode.
I'm actually not. I'll forget. I won't get my. I'd have to master pronunciation first and keep it consistent.
Yeah.
I'm not smart enough for that sort of thing.
That's right, man.
They are most, but I've already mastered.
Most but.
They
You're
are
a very
most,
good teacher. But this,
of all the dragons, they have the
all
most.
the dragons, but
You're the thickest of the dragons.
finally we're going to talk about the butt.
I'm dummy thick.
It's been I know it's Dragons Part 9. We've all been thinking about it. We're finally going to talk about how thick dragons are. The 2 C's.
This is so dumb.
Such a dumb episode.
We're not doing so good, huh? I mean, I blame the glass of wine I'm having, but I don't know what your guys' experience is.
I blame the 2 glasses of wine I've had already. So
He's winning again. He's mastered reading before me.
yeah.
They are the most aloof and grim of the good aligned dragons. They value their privacy to the extent that they rarely fraternize with other dragons except their own mates and offspring. Older gold dragons can assume animal and humanoid forms. Rarely does a gold dragon in disguise reveal its true form. It wouldn't be a disguise if... Okay, fine. If it
I'm
was
going
just
to
a
reveal my
surprise,
true form
it's
now,
me.
just for a wink, wink, for a little bit.
Yeah. In the guise of a peddler, it might regularly visit a town to catch up on local gossip, patronize honest businesses, and lend a helping hand in unseen ways. In the guise of an animal, the dragon might befriend a lost child, a wandering minstrel, or an innkeeper, serving as a companion for days or weeks on end.
I know what patronize small businesses mean, but at first I did think it was the other patronize.
Oh, you guys are doing so great. Well
This is
done.
really,
Well done.
honestly, for someone with your lifespan, this is a pretty good business. Like,
Yeah, well done.
subjectively.
Oh man, yeah. So
Really nailed reading there, Daniel. You really got
nice
it. at
reading
the
there,
end.
Daniel. Very good stuff.
Thanks, guys. It's all to you.
So what did we learn from that, guys? What message did we get from that paragraph?
It's funny that they value their privacy
Yeah.
to the extent that they don't fraternize with other dragons, but they're very,
Keen on non-dragons,
they're very social animals.
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
Interesting that they would have that specific and then say that they're also mates with everybody. That is good, supposedly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they're kind of like, they're almost not mates. It's more like, they're almost more like a guardian angel or something.
Yeah, I suppose.
Because they seem to they deliberately use like the disguising to sort of create a distance between themselves and the and whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the idea of a gold dragon being an even more mystical version of the dragon than any of the other dragons, you know. So it'd be an incredibly rare thing to see an actual gold dragon's form, even compared to all the other ones, you know. So it makes sense that they'll want to hide and they would want to kind of disguise themselves like all the time and never really appear in their own form, you know.
Yeah.
Almost like a godlike entity. Master hoarders. A gold dragon keeps its hoard in a well-guarded vault deep within its lair. Magical wards placed on the vault make it all but impossible to remove any treasures without the dragon knowing about it.
Cool.
And all those really good Prince songs we will never hear, unfortunately.
No. And the Prince documentary and
vault.
video game he made.
Yeah. Yeah. Gold dragons their hoards are very, very well guarded and very like secret, and they just want to keep their money. They want to keep not just their money, just their treasures. They want to keep their money.
I want to keep my money.
There's my money. Have you got the money? It's a lot of money, but break it down. Like their treasure is like super.
Friendship.
Their treasure is friendship the entire time.
Entire time.
It's very well guarded and it's kept very safe. You know.
Yeah, I have something to say about that, but I'll mention it after we talk about their stat block.
Well, Tim, if you got something to say, then say it to my face.
I will in a minute once we clarify a point that I would rather be made before I made mine.
Makes sense. I thought you wanted to say that I was stupid or something.
You're
why would you think
a
that?
great man, Mikey.
Thank you.
You're a lovely chap.
You're an excellent person, Tim. I love you, Tim.
Oh, I love you too.
Oh, that's nice.
Thank you. So, well, I guess we'll just keep reading so we can get on to your point. Well, that's all we have there for that part. So, what do we have? What do we know about the gold dragon there after reading all that stuff?
I was really expecting them to be like the wise kind of thing, like, but there's nothing specific said about their wisdom or their ancient knowledge that they maintain.
I guess so. Yeah.
Like, it seems to be that they're just kind of the friendly, lucky, reclusive gold dragons. Yeah.
Yeah. They want to keep themselves safe and like secret and safe, and they want to keep their treasures safe and secret too.
Yeah, I mean, it is actually interesting what you're mentioning there. Like, I mean, it's a small thing, but like you said, there's no wisdom. But also, if you recall in the previous editions, it talked about how active gold dragons are. It literally said they often embark on self-appointed quests to promote goodness and are not easily distracted from them, which implies that they are like traveling dragons, the wandering dragons.
Yeah.
And here we don't see that. We see a lot of passivity instead. We see a creature that keeps to itself, stays away from other dragons, only approaches mortals in disguise. You know, we learn about how hard it is to steal treasure from them, but not necessarily what they do with that treasure other than eat it.
Yeah.
Maybe if they went on all the quests, then there would leave no quests for the player characters,
that's
I guess.
True. Limited number of quests in a world, obviously.
That's true, yeah. You can only like 2 quests. There's kill rats in the basement and escort the mayor to another town or something. There we go. That's the 2 quests you do in D&D.
Well, no, there's also the caravan ambush. That's a quest.
Caravan ambush, absolutely.
Well, that's a subplot of the bringing the mayor to the town, though.
And the dungeon. Yeah.
Yes. What do you mean? It's just goblin.
That's that.
It's just goblin. That's the only dungeon.
Goblin.
Goblin's the only dungeon.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Shall we move on to the old meat and potatoes?
I guess so, yeah.
Do we have to?
We might as well.
We're contractually obliged to talk about meat and potatoes
Oh, the contract.
every episode of Creature Club.
Shouldn't have signed it in blood.
If we don't, then we will be...
I die. I know, Mikey. I know.
Yes. No, I'm explaining it to the audience because they don't.
Right. Sorry. Okay.
It's a bit of exposition.
I thought you were patronizing me like the gold dragon.
Yeah. You are a small business after all.
We have to simultaneously fire each other so that no one is left, because otherwise it's one person firing everyone else, and then they will be the king of Creature Club.
That's true. That's how Creature Club works.
Are we a monarchy?
Yeah.
Or a triarchy?
A triumvirate, I believe, is the term.
Triumvirate. Ooh, cool.
Yeah, I think so.
Nice word.
Okay. Yeah, it is.
I think the old Byzantine Empire had triumvirates occasionally.
Oh, sweet.
I might be wrong. But yeah, that's the term for if you've got, I believe, 3 leaders.
3 leaders.
Nice. Well, this is going at the end of the episode.
Who we leading though?
I don't know. Can we just read this down?
No, I don't. I want to say on this.
No. We need to get through this.
Let's play the music.
I'm not smart enough to answer these questions.
Play the music. Play the music.
It's probably been on mute for the last 5 minutes.
It's playing us out like at the start of the episode already.
Yeah, it's like when they want you to get off the stage at the Oscars. They're just playing the music over us.
This is just the metaphorical like cane that's coming around her neck and just pulling us off the stage.
Ancient Gold Dragon, Gargantuan Dragon, Lawful Good, Armor Class 22, Natural Armor. Hit points 546, which is 28 d20 plus 252.
Wow.
Nice. Satisfying. Nice. Speed, 40-foot land speed, 80-foot fly speed, and a 40-foot swim speed. It has 30 strength, God tier, a dexterity of 14, Constitution 29, woo, Intelligence 18, Wisdom 17, and Charisma 28. Jesus.
Look at that face.
That's the best stats so far of the metallic dragons, ancient ones, I think.
Makes sense.
I'd say so.
There you go.
Definitely the highest strength so far.
100%. Its saving throws are Dex, Con, Wiz, and Cha, which are all +9, +16, +10, and +16 each in the row there. Skills, it is skilled in Insight at a +10, Perception at a +17, Persuasion at a +16, and Stealth at a +9. It is immune to fire damage, and that's it. It has some senses. It has blind sight up to 60 feet, dark vision up to 120 feet, and it has a passive perception of 27.
And I hope
speaks common
sense.
and draconic. Yeah, it says it on the next line. It has common and draconic. The challenge rating is 24, which in my book, which is obviously the best book, has 62,000 experience.
Wow. Well, I hope it's that one because my one's 36,500
What?
36,500.
Your book bites, man. We keep not leveling up because of
Yeah, because of my book. I'm pretty sure I actually did level up my players like using experience points using this book, and I'm so sorry to my players for that because they would have been level 20 by now.
Yeah, it's consistent up to above level 20. It seems.
Yeah,
like there is the little
I
array.
believe that's the case. That basically it breaks down where as soon as it gets above 20, Mikey's book, the original printing, has much lower XP values.
Yeah. What's the formula? Is there a formula for it, or?
There's just a chart,
a formula at the start
basically.
of the monster manual.
Yeah.
I think it's at the start of the player handbook.
Okay.
Is it? I was thinking. Oh, sorry for leveling up. Apologies. I was thinking for challenge rating XP. Sorry.
Yeah, challenge rating XP. That's what I meant.
I think that's at the start of the. I think that's at the start of the monster manual.
I would
There's a whole thing about explaining your XP budget when you're building encounters that I don't think anyone has ever used in the history of playing D&D.
experience points by challenge rating.
It's like you take the level of your party, and then like you like every time you add a monster, it like divides the budget or something. Like it's actually, I honestly don't understand it at all. I've literally never used it. I'm not. It's one of those things where like I think whoever came up with it is much smarter than I am. But they didn't necessarily play D&D. They just came up with a lot of maths.
Yeah.
Because if they played D&D, they'd be able to tell you like,
Dave, can you do some maths for our game?
Well, Dan, don't put yourself down. You just learned how to read, so I'm sure you'll catch up.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
One day I'll learn
you'll
how
get
to
there.
subtract.
I believe in you.
Then I can finally deal damage.
It has 2 abilities. Amphibious, the dragon can breathe air and water. It has legendary resistance, 3 per day. If the dragon fails a saving throw, it can choose to succeed instead, which is just like all the other ones.
That's interesting, though, that that's amphibious. I never really knew that about gold dragons.
Yeah, it says nothing about their water affinity.
I think it's just because they're the best. They get a bit of everything.
I guess so, yeah.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
I guess because they're so mystical and powerful that they can just also be underwater and nothing's wrong with them.
They have gills in there somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's more like just magic, I guess. Just magic.
Yeah, fair.
Like it says
Could
that
just be
they're
magic,
amphibious, and it actually doesn't mean they have gills, but I think it's just they're so mystical and magical that they have the power to be underwater, you know?
Yeah, the power
Yeah,
to be underwater. To exist under the water.
Yes.
That's
But never mind that. This thing has actions, and I will read the action
oh no!
right now.
I was hoping it wouldn't do anything on its turns.
It just stands around.
No actions.
Well, it doesn't have to do these actions, you know.
That's true, actually. Yeah, I could pass every turn.
Yeah, it could. And also, if you don't,
That'd pretty fuck your players up.
if it's a lawful good creature, so if you just don't attack it and talk to it, then it doesn't have to do these things, so you're good. All right, so multi-attack. The dragon can use its frightful presence. It then makes 3 attacks, 1 with its bite, 2 with its claws. So as a bite, melee weapon attack, 17 to hit, reach 15 feet, 1 target, hit 21, 2d10 plus 10 piercing damage. Claw, melee weapon attack, 17 to hit, reach 10 feet, 1 target, hit 17, 2d6 plus 10 slashing damage. Tail, melee weapon attack, plus 17 to hit, reach 20 feet, 1 target, hit 19, 2d8 plus 10 bludgeoning damage.
Jesus. You did it,
Mind
Mike.
yourself.
All right. The next
round
one I'm going to leave for my friend Daniel.
Sure. I'm not really familiar with this ability, but I'll give it a try.
Yeah, give it a go.
All right.
Okay, it's called Frightful Presence.
Say that again?
It says here, Frightful Presence.
Okay.
Everyone listen up for this one because I think it's going to be...
So it's like a jack in the box?
Yeah, I think so. It can use it as part of the multi-attack, so that's kind of interesting. So obviously this is a pretty important part of the dragon. Let's see.
Yeah.
Each creature of the dragon's choice that is within 120 feet of the dragon and aware of it must succeed on a DC 24 wisdom saving throw or become frightened for 1 minute. Wow, geez, that's quite good. Frightened for a minute.
Yeah, 1 minute. Wow.
Oh, hang on, sorry. A creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. So actually, a little less strong.
Okay.
If a creature's saving throw is successful or the effect ends for it, so after, I suppose, a minute, like it said, I think you probably save before then.
Maximum 1 minute.
Yeah, exactly, Tim. Maximum
Those 60
minute.
seconds, you're
Those
fucked.
60, that's a hard 60. And geez, imagine being frightened of a dragon for a minute. You'd probably be you'd be coming out your own arse like. If a creature's saving throw is successful or the effect ends for it, sorry, yeah, I said that part already. The creature, oh, there you go. The creature is immune to the dragon's frightful presence for the next 24 hours. So it's kind of a once per battle sort of thing.
I don't know about you guys, but if I saw a dragon, I would be scared for a lot longer than 1 minute. But I'm not a D&D character, so
Everything's fine now.
I suppose it's the difference between being frightened and being so frightened you couldn't do anything. You'd be like, I can't get the car started. I'm too scared.
Yeah.
Like dropping the keys or whatever.
By the time you're fighting a challenge rating 24 ancient golden dragon, I think you've probably seen some stuff in your life that's about as scary as an ancient gold dragon. So you're like, yeah, I'm a bit scared now, but give me 60 seconds and I'll be grand.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Let me take a few deep breaths. Let me sit down and align my chakras.
Let me just center myself.
I think if that's the thing to learn in life, that if you just sit down, take a deep breath, and just reflect on the situation you're in, things will be fine, Or you're fucked, but just give yourself that.
Or you're fucked.
Give that yourself a little bit, and just a deep breath, and then just reflect and just be in the moment,
Okay, so it's also got some breath weapons.
Ooh, I see.
This is the cool stuff.
Recharge 5/6, as we've seen before. Dragon uses one of the following breath weapons. So it's got a fire breath. The dragon exhales fire in a 90-foot cone. Each creature in that area must succeed on a DC 24 dexterity saving throw, taking 71 or 13d10 fire damage on a successful. Oh God,
Jesus!
On a failed save. Do you know they got on a successful save? That'd be. I reversed it.
Oh, Jesus. You must fail to take less damage,
or half as much damage on a successful save.
If you trip and fall like Frodo in Mordor, then
then
the eye doesn't see
stop,
you.
Drop and roll.
Yeah.
But without the roll bar, just fall over. And its other breath is a weakening breath. The dragon exhales gas in a 90-foot cone. Each creature in that area must succeed on a DC 24 strength saving throw. I always like seeing strength saving throws and things.
Yeah.
Or have disadvantage on strength-based attack rolls, strength checks, and strength saving throws for 1 minute. A creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. So that's kind of an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Weird that it's a strength save against being weakened. So you're this breath is thrown at you, and you are about to be weakened, but then you flex really hard against it. It's not like strength is usually reserved for actual tests of strength.
Yeah,
but this
is force effectively, trying to resist. Yeah.
But then you're using your strength to prevent yourself from losing strength.
It seems like, yeah, I'd agree. It seems like Constitution would make more sense for the idea of resisting becoming weakened, because it's like your physical endurance. But as I say, I actually do like seeing strength saving throws. I like flexibility in saving throws, and I think it's an interesting idea. I do feel like this is maybe something I feel a lot of the time. I always feel a bit like whenever you get a power like this, which is kind of cool, because D&D doesn't have kind of keywords. It has a few conditions, and then a lot of the time it just has rules for stuff. This is you have disadvantage on strength-based attack rolls, strength checks, and strength saving throws. And, just for comparison's sake, if you were poisoned, you would have just disadvantage on attack rolls. And on, I think, ability checks. I think poisoned is attacks, ability checks, but not saving throws, so you can resist it. You can basically save against the poison.
Right.
And it's just one of those things where I think in my head, I always prefer the neatness of using a keyword, because if, for example, this was some kind of poison that drained your strength, then having, for example, the ability to resist poison would be relevant.
Yes.
Because it's like a weird, you make a strength saving throw, and then you have disadvantage on strength stuff. It sort of does this thing where sneaks by all your rules. You probably won't have any abilities that let you protect yourself from this.
Yeah.
I think the Barbarian Rage might give you advantage on strength saves, but I can't recall for sure.
Relatively certain it does. It does a lot of stuff for strength, being the Barbarian.
I know it does strength checks, but I obviously doesn't do attacks, because reckless attack does attacks.
It might have to be an endless rage, or one of those kind of subsets.
Oh, that's
of
fair.
rage.
Yeah, that's absolutely. It could be that. I think it is basic rage, but I can't recall for sure. Anyway, just a thought on weakening breath.
I do wonder if there are any other strength saving throws specifically within its lair actions. We haven't read ahead, but I wonder if there are any that cause you to kind of do a little bit of a death spiral with regards to strength saving throws, because otherwise there would be no point to reducing your strength saving throw or getting you disadvantage on them.
Yeah.
Got to do some good DMing.
There's also the interesting point that if you are the kind of character that relies on strength for your attack rolls, you are probably the kind of character who either A, has proficiency in strength saves, because you're either a fighter or a barbarian, or even if you don't have proficiency, you probably have a good modifier.
Yeah.
So you're actually pretty likely to succeed on this, which is interesting because kind of,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like if it was a con save and affected your strength, then it would basically require you to have two different abilities. But because it's a strength save that then affects your strength, it's like it just basically, if you're a strength build, it's a bad time or you're fine. If you're anything else, if you're the wizard, you're like, okay, fine, I have disadvantage on strength attacks.
Yeah. That's kind of funny because if somebody has the strength, the modifiers that they would have for those things would mitigate the effect of having disadvantage.
That's actually also true, yeah.
Like if you had a flat save, if you had 0, your average goes from 10 to 5, basically.
Yes.
But if you have like a +9 to that, your lowest you're going to get is like like your average is then only lowered to 14, which is a relatively hard skill check. So
yeah.
I think it's kind of funny how they've kind of fiddled around with that. It's not like a reduction in your skill as an actual weakening. It just causes you disadvantage. You forget how to use your muscles.
Well, disadvantage is just good because it's really straightforward. There's no maths.
Yeah.
Because you just roll 2 dice. Like it's just, and actually, I do generally think stuff like disadvantage is a good way to like make playing D&D not like an algebra battle.
Yeah. Throw more numbers at them.
You're no match for my numbers, hero. So the final ability that the dragon has, the final regular action, is change shape. The dragon magically polymorphs into a humanoid or beast that has a challenge rating no higher than its own, or back into its true form. It reverts to its true form if it dies. Any equipment it is wearing or carrying is absorbed or borne by the new form, the dragon's choice. In a new form, the dragon retains its alignment, hit points, hit dice, ability to speak, proficiencies, legendary resistance, lair actions, and intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores, as well as its actions. Its statistics and capabilities are otherwise replaced by those of the new form, except any class features or legendary actions of that form.
So, pretty much the same as the other change shapes.
Yep.
I didn't notice anything specifically different.
All the other metallics have that ability that they can change shape and do that.
Yeah, as far as the only thing I know, well, maybe it's just me noticing it, but I noticed that it said lair actions, and so I just went back to Copper Dragon and compared it, and they both get to keep their lair actions. I wondered, was like,
fair enough,
that may be a special gold dragon thing, but no, it's just a change shape dragon
right? Yep.
thing.
Cool.
It has some legendary actions.
Tell us, Tim.
The dragon can take 3 legendary actions, choosing from the options below. Only 1 legendary action can be used at a time, and only at the end of another creature's turn. The dragon regains spent legendary actions at the start of its turn. It has the detect ability, which allows it to make a wisdom perception check. It has a tail attack, which allows it to make a tail attack, and it has a wing attack, which costs 2 actions. The dragon beats its wings. Each creature within 15 feet of the dragon must succeed on a DC 25 dexterity saving throw, or taking 17 2d6 plus 10 bludgeoning damage, or be knocked prone. The dragon can then fly up to half its speed. I wonder why the DC is 25 there, but 24 everywhere else. Yeah, because for Fire Breath, the DC is 24 dexterity. Weakening is 24.
I believe it's because
strength.
their breath weapons are based on their charisma, because it's like spell casting.
But then the Frightful Presence is the same.
But that makes sense as well, right? Frightful Presence is probably based on charisma.
Okay.
Whereas I think the wing attack gets to be based on strength because it's just an attack basically.
But then wouldn't it be slightly stronger? Oh no, you're right.
It is stronger, right?
But
I just made that point. Okay, cool. Yeah.
but what's a dragon?
But
without
Daniel,
its lair?
But what is a saving throw?
what is saving throw? You know
What
that
is
point I
saving
just made. What about it?
But what's a
about-
dragon without its lair?
Oh, he's right.
Yeah, what is a dragon? A
What
dragon
is a
needs
dragon?
a lair. A gold dragon's lair. Gold dragons make their homes in out-of-the-way places where they can do as they please without arousing suspicion or fear. Most dwell near idyllic lakes and rivers, mist-shrouded islands, cave complexes hidden between sparkling waterfalls, or ancient ruins.
What's in these ruins, hero?
Very classic.
That does explain why it has the amphibious trait, by the way.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Lair actions. On initiative count 20, losing initiative ties, the dragon takes a lair action to cause one of the following effects. The dragon can't use the same effect 2 rounds in a row. It's actually worth pointing out that it sometimes doesn't have that sentence. It doesn't always say the dragon can't use the same effect 2 rounds in a row. It sometimes says it.
Yeah.
Just as a heads up, just thought that was interesting. I think the Copper Dragon, for example, didn't say it. So it's just obviously depending on how they feel about the rules.
Yeah.
Or space on the page, maybe. Could be.
It could be that simple.
Yeah.
So first ability, the dragon glimpses the future. Fucking hell.
Jesus.
All right, well.
Oh my god.
I can see everything.
It
see everything.
gazes into the eternity beyond the present. And it has advantage on attack rolls. Wow. There's other ways to do that, bro.
I can see everything that will happen and has happened. I get advantage on this next attack. Yes.
I get another dice, and that's a 5 and a 7, so he misses.
I do 2d6 damage instead of just 1d6. Yes.
So it has advantage on attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws until the initiative count 20 on the next round. Oh, Jesus Christ, sorry. It's on all of them. It's not on the next one.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
That's actually quite good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm too busy making fun of it 3 that it's actually quite a powerful.
It's very good. Yeah, it's very good.
Nice.
Very powerful.
Sees the future. The next ability is one dragon the dragon can see.
One dragon, the dragon, the
Oh,
dragon,
man.
the dragon, the dragon, the dragon, the
It
dragon,
would
the
be
dragon.
so
dragon,
good if it just said one dragon the dragon could see, and you're like, wait, what?
That's like only so did you bring that dragon with you? And then the DM takes out the book and like, okay, so time to finally do this.
That would be so fucking weird if like one layer action on one dragon was like a dragon combo ability where you have to have at least 2 dragons.
Yeah. Oh god.
You'd just be like, I'm reading my 9th dragon of the day. What is happening?
One creature the dragon can see within 120 feet of it must succeed on a DC 15 charisma saving throw or be banished to a dream plane. A different plane of existence the dragon has imagined into being. To escape, the creature must use its action to make a charisma check contested by the dragons.
Oof.
If the creature wins, it escapes the dream plane. Otherwise, the effect ends on initiative count 20 on the next round. When the effect ends, the dragon... Oh my god. The creature reappears in the space it left. or in the nearest unoccupied space, if that one is occupied. Oh my god. I just reading dragon. I see dragons everywhere.
So those 2 abilities are very like
They're fucking wild, bro.
they're wild. They're very
Crazy.
magical. They're very mystical there. It's like all the other dragons have like this. They're all like all the dragons are magical, of course, but all the other ones have kind of like specific to do with their personality and like the area they like live in. But these are like they see the future and they can transport you into a mystical dream world. It's like it's cool. It's very cool, and it kind of shows that they're the most powerful metallic dragon. Yeah. But it's crazy. It's wild. Like I
agree. You definitely feel like there was some sort of, disconnect here between the abilities the dragon has. And obviously the intention is that they're both very powerful abilities, right? Like the ability to just get advantage on effectively all rolls until next turn is very good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that that'll be happening every second turn is very good. And obviously then the sort of the banishment to one creature it's very unusual. It's a really unusual. They make a saving throw to resist it. And then when they're stuck, they don't make another saving throw. They make a charisma check contested by the dragons, which is bad odds, to be honest, because you're talking about a creature with at least +9, and you have at best, unless you're very magical, like you have a best +5. You're kind of always rolling at a sort of loss compared to the dragon, but you also have to use your action to do so, and you come back at the start of the next turn anyway. So to me, like immediately as a player, I'm thinking it's probably not worth it. It's probably not worth trying.
Yeah.
Like that's a whole action I get to myself. I'll just cast like a buff spell, or I'll drink a potion, or I'll ready an action for when I come back. Like I know I'm coming back. Why would I make a roll that's like I'm just gonna probably like unless I'm a bard, unless I'm a charisma build, I'm almost certainly gonna lose this roll off.
Just enjoy this imaginary world the golden dragon has created for you. I think it's cool that for some of the most powerful creatures in the monster manual so far, that like creation of imaginary spaces, or like the magical creature's ability to cause their imagination to manifest in either the creation of something or its effect being on the actual like real material plane. Like with the beholder, its dreams and its nightmares would cause all kinds of weird chaos to happen, and here it seems like a more controlled imagination causing this entire other plane of existence to appear with its imagination. I was going to make fun of how it's like the line was a different plane of existence the dragon has imagined into being. It's like he closes his eyes and he's like, haha, now you're in my imaginary world.
He's like, a big cage. And then you're just in a big cage.
Oh, no.
What the fuck?
This cage is as big as an entire world. I'll be fine.
I'll attack you, dragon. Shield. I have a shield now in front of me.
Damn. anti-attack shield.
Block.
I didn't tell you this was a shadow game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of funky how they give the like big powerful boys imagine magic.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't give them any
It's-
magic spells. They just give them brain magic, like innate spellcasting.
Yeah, it kind of creates an idea you could probably fold into your world building that effectively like maybe sort of the mechanism of power in D&D, like challenge for monsters or levels for characters, is almost like the ability for you to like turn your will into reality. It's like sort of, you know, how your strength of will, your ability to decide that your version of events happens. And so the most powerful creatures in the world can simply imagine things into being. And ultimately the most powerful characters perhaps can do similar.
Yeah, super cool that it's consistent.
Regional effects. The region containing a legendary gold dragon's lair is warped by the dragon's magic, which creates one or more of the following effects. Number 1. Whenever a creature that can understand a language sleeps or enters a state of trance or reverie within 6 miles of the dragon's lair, the dragon can establish telepathic contact with that creature and converse with it in its dreams. The creature remembers its conversation with the dragon upon waking. Cool stuff there. It can kind of speak to you in your dreams.
Yeah.
That's very cool, Billy. All right.
Banks of beautiful opalescent mist manifest within 6 miles of the dragon's lair. The mist doesn't obscure anything. How?
What?
What is it
How?
then? What is it then?
How does it?
It's just
If
air?
it's visible
What
at
the
all.
What?
It's just sparkly
What?
air. Huh?
How? If it doesn't obscure, how do you see it? If
Yeah.
it doesn't obscure any.
It's-
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna do another sentence because that one's bad. It assumes haunting forms when evil creatures are near the dragon, or other non-evil creatures. Of wait,
Huh?
hang on. The mist. Sorry, it assumes haunting forms when evil creatures are near the dragon, or other non-evil creatures in the mist, warning such creatures of the danger. Right. Okay, that's two abilities, and you said "or" instead of using a full stop.
Yeah, that's confusing.
It assumes
So-
haunting forms when evil creatures are near the dragon. It warns non-evil creatures of danger while they are in the mist.
This is when, if we were in school, the teacher would make us just
Yeah.
write in it, like
Yeah.
full
No,
stop there.
Mr. Holmes, my English teacher, would be like, now you've done sort of a run-on sentence here, Daniel, where you've decided to use an "or" instead of a full stop, and I wouldn't have an answer because he's right.
Yeah.
And he'd make me change it. And then I'd learn better English.
This is such a trippy dragon to be losing our minds to in this episode. Like, it feels appropriate that the weird dream imagine dragon is the second to last one that we're going to be experiencing.
It's definitely hit us with the weakening breath, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's it. I think that's the excuse we can use.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, it's interesting because the word. So this is actually like something that we can kind of talk about. It has the sentence that we stopped on for a while. The mist doesn't obscure anything.
Yes.
So in real life, that's fucking insane. Like, that doesn't make any sense. In the rules of Dungeons and Dragons, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And the issue here, effectively, is that Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition very casually moves between descriptive text that has no effect on gameplay and rules text that directly impacts gameplay.
Yeah.
So, like, this mist doesn't really do anything. It kind of warns you about danger, I guess. But it's important that it doesn't obscure anything because the ability to hide creatures is powerful, especially if we assume that the mist is on the side of the good guys. So it would be a boon to the players. But instead, it doesn't actually hide them because it obscures nothing. So they can't use it to hide, rules as written. I guess that's kind of the reason it's there. But like, as a sentence to drop in about how the mist seems to work, it doesn't read correctly. It feels like this sentence needs another word, you know?
Yeah.
This mist doesn't obscure creatures from each other, for example.
I think if they put a comma after dragon, it assumes haunting forms when evil creatures are near the dragon or other non-evil creatures in the mist. God, it's so weird though. The dragon or other non-evil creatures in the mist, warning such creatures of the danger. It's like, oh god, it's so fucking weird.
So the mist doesn't, this is the weird thing, the mist doesn't assume haunting forms to scare evil creatures.
No.
It assumes haunting forms to warn good creatures.
Yeah.
So it's just...
Guys, we're
it's
at an hour on recording here. Can we just cut our losses and just continue?
Okay,
please?
gems and pearls within 1 mile of the dragon's lair sparkle and gleam, shedding dim light in a 5-foot radius. That's actually, I like that.
That's cool.
That's cool and straightforward and also functional. I know that light isn't a concern in 5th edition for a lot of obvious reasons, but it's cool, and the idea that this might be important, or even just might be used to sort of establish part of the setting could be cool. Like a really obvious thing is this dragon likes to hang out near water, and torches don't work underwater, so you could use gemstones as torches while you're swimming.
Sweet. Yeah.
Cool. So my point from earlier with regards the magical wards placed on the vault to make it impossible to remove any treasures without the dragon knowing about it, I was going to say that the dragon doesn't have any specific magical abilities, but it seems its abilities just kind of allow it to do magic stuff.
Yes.
But I don't think it needs specific magical wards. Like, magical wards, to me, presumes some like pre-written incantation that is known of the world round, but I guess it doesn't need to. It just has to be this magical opalescent mist, I guess, around the thing that if you walk through it or enter it, the dragon just knows that you're there, and then he comes and kicks your ass or eats you or has a chat.
Yeah.
Weird.
Kicks your ass or has a chat.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, for the regional effects, if the dragon dies, these effects end immediately, so none of them linger, which we see sometimes, but in this case everything immediately stops.
Yeah, very quick, real quick. Adult Gold Dragon is all the same stuff, but the numbers are lower. Armor class, the stats, so the attacks are lower, everything is just lower, and that's it.
There you go.
Young Gold Dragon, it doesn't have the legendary abilities or the change shape ability, and everything else, the numbers are lower once again, and it's a large instead of the huge adult dragon or the gargantuan ancient dragon, and the Wormling is much weaker. It's a medium size, and it only has the bite and breath weapons. So there we go.
There you are.
That's what we have. That's for that one. So we may stop. Not stop. We may go on to the.
We may never stop.
No, we're not actually stopping all. We're actually doing more of the show. But let's continue on with the award-winning segment, award-winning podcast segment, the Desert Town Fun Times, brought to you by Creature Club, starring Tim Porter.
Yes. So what do we think about this guy as regards how we would have him in some of our settings? Do we have any specific ideas? I have one or two.
So the Gold Dragon has kind of changed over the different editions, and I'm not sure what I like the most. I kind of understand what they were going for with 5th edition. So in 5th edition, as I said before, in previous editions of the game, it describes that Gold Dragons basically go out and seek out
Yeah, they're more nomadic.
evil or effectively, pursue the cause of justice. And in 5th edition, that isn't the case anymore, or at least it's not described. And I think the reason for that very simply is just because of the abilities and powers of a dragon can perhaps feel overwhelming. And even to some extent, there might be the feeling that if the party, feel like the dragon is the kind of thing that goes out and solves problems, will they feel like less valid? Will they feel that their efforts are less valuable because they're so much less powerful than a dragon, at least at the start of the campaign?
Right.
So that's, I think that's maybe not unreasonable. Yeah. And it does kind of change the role of the dragon. Certainly this whole idea of the dragon becoming this weird, like, dream walker who has, like, the ability to see the future and all this stuff is certainly a change.
Indeed.
It didn't have any abilities like this in previous editions of the game
At all?
No. It could shapeshift like old dragons, but instead of having like the ability to see the future and cast you into a dream dimension, it could just like detect gemstones, and it had this ability called luck bonus, where effectively if you were near it, every good creature within like I think about 15 feet of the dragon got like a bonus to like everything, just like a +1 bonus to saving throws, ability checks. It's not unlike the stone of good luck magic item. If in effect it was like an aura of good luck. So they sort of this is the thing that's interesting to me, is that like the Gold Dragon, it talks about how like they don't like to do much, and then we kind of get into their lair actions, and suddenly they can see the future and send people into imaginary planes. And then in their regional effects, they can they have telepathy, which they don't actually have normally, which I think is very unusual.
Yeah. It's only dream telepathy.
Yeah, like telepathy is normally listed under languages. So this dragon doesn't have telepathy except in the context of a regional effect, which is an interesting idea. It's not a bad idea. It's a very interesting idea. But I don't know, like I suppose in many ways because this dragon is sort of this weird ethereal thing, right? That it occupies this area and like it can touch your dreams and it can summon mist. And
Appears mist.
like as fog, astral projection. It can take the crueler forms in life: the rat, the bat. What a belter of a movie! That's Bram Stoker's Dracula, starring Anthony Hopkins. It's worth it for the Anthony Hopkins scene, to be honest. There's a great scene where he's
Van Helsing,
an aging Van Helsing. There's this incredible scene where like Van Helsing is explaining that Dracula's a vampire to like Keanu Reeves, who's the main character in the book, whose name I've totally forgotten. And they're just in like a tavern, and like all I remember about is like Anthony is eating the fuck out of the food in that scene. And, like it's just something about it I really enjoy. Like everyone else is doing this really reserved Hollywood performance, but like fucking like Anthony's just like got the fork and knife. He's like, you know, he's going into the food. He's having his fill. Like I don't know. It just brings me so much joy every time I see it.
What a lad.
Like, he's a man who wants a full stomach. I respect that.
There you go.
But that's not related to this.
I think it was a relevant tangent.
We'll talk more about that when we get to vampires.
Yeah. Actually, that would be great.
Yeah.
In 30 years.
But yeah, so the gold dragon. Yeah, fucking hell at this rate. If I keep not talking about the gold dragon. So yeah, I don't know. Like I think that like I almost would like to use I think you said almost like a religious figure before, Mikey, and I think in that way it probably makes the most sense. I think effectively having the gold dragon almost be like a guardian angel or a saint.
Yeah.
For the region its lair occupies, and like it, you know, touches the dreams of people, and maybe like this is a site of pilgrimage, you know, like a holy order has established here because they think it's a religious experience,
and maybe he can disguise himself as like a priest of the town or something.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah.
And he like listens to all the answers about, and he knows all about the religion, of course, because he is the religion. You know.
Yeah, I mean, like, or even that, like, you know, the dragon took on the form of a fighter and defended the town once, and sort of vanished, and the town maybe thought that this dragon died, but it was like there was a statue erected in its honor.
Yeah.
And then like the dragon kind of adopts that form and appears in people's dreams and has become maybe like a sainted figure, you know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And so then there's kind of an interesting thing where like you can kind of, again, you can, you know, depending on the kind of players you have, and this is something I'd like to do with my players because I think they'd do it well. It's like you could have a really cool thing where you could establish all this stuff at the start of the game, and you could give your players prompts, and maybe even like if you've got a player who's like a paladin or a cleric, that they could have devoted themselves to this person, and then to eventually find out that it's not a spiritual creature, it's a physical creature who has these strange spiritual abilities, and how that might even impact their faith as a character, which is sort of a question we don't get to explore a lot in D&D because I mean you always wake up with spells. So like that question of like what is your, you know, what is your belief system and what does it mean, that could be kind of an interesting internal conflict for that character to explore.
I think that kind of touches on some of the ideas that I have been considering bringing to the table for dragons and stuff, and having them be like the actual sources of at least some of the magic in the world. Like with a religion, you'll have the clerics who will have cleric abilities, and if it is a cleric of this specific dragon, then that magic actually has to come from the dragon, which I was considering, like, would it be still effective at distances greater than the 6 miles? But I think that it would only work if the actual person who is devoted to the dragon, it carries its magic within itself and is its own kind of like shining light of this dragon's magic and of this religion. Because usually there's not a lot of like proselytizing or like telling people to join your religion in D&D, because like everyone has their own kind of like choice in magic. It's like, yeah, this is I worship this devil. I worship the literal, like basically Satan, as it is with the fiends and stuff, the devil. And then other people are just like, yeah, and I pray to the antithesis of that, but yeah, we can be mates, you know? It's crazy.
Yeah. Maybe you can have a adventure where if you want to go with with these guys being source of magic and the gold dragons, just top of my head, they can be the source of very like dream-like magic, a very kind of strange ethereal magic. Maybe you can just have a group of baddies just kidnap him. Very powerful baddies just kidnap this gold dragon and kind of want to like extract its dream power for some weird high concept reason that you can explain if you so wish. But you just have to.
That sounds like something out of Kingdom Hearts.
It does, yeah, and I'm up for that. I'm down for that ride. And then you just have to go get him back. I guess really, you can just have that. Really, that's very simple, but yeah, that's an adventure idea.
One of my thoughts was you could have the gold dragon be like the owner of a weird like playhouse, essentially. Like you could have the weird opalescent mist, and the dragon is basically in control of like the shapes that are appearing, and you could just have a fun little like illusory kind of maze as like maybe a side quest at some point, and maybe they don't know that it's a gold dragon, or they don't know that gold dragons have that specific ability. And if you like, you can expand on that, and you can introduce them to the dragon, and maybe the dragon talks about his work in the greater area of the town, and maybe he has some things that he can't specifically get to himself. So like I think that a lot of the like starting small with dragons and having them be their humanoid forms, specifically for the metallic dragons, I think is a cool way to either introduce a dragon, or maybe you could have a character in your town that your players take an interest in, and then you're just like, you know what, I might as well make them a dragon, give them a slightly bigger role in the world that you have created, and just link it in with some other quests that you have, and say that this person introduces themselves to your players and just introduces them to more interesting quests, and use that dragon person as their through line to whatever main quest that you would rather them be on.
You can make dragons?
A bit of fun. You can make dragons, Mikey. That's what we've been doing this entire time.
I thought they were real dragons.
Yeah.
Well, we did have our real dragon, but in the mystical, magical world of D&D, you can make as many dragons as you like.
That's true, yeah, if you so wish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Everyone is dragons.
That sounds scary.
That's a bit of fun. So we're talking a lot about just dragons in the world, and that's or like gold dragons in the world. And unfortunately, that's kind of the only ideas we really have for metallic dragons, or the best ideas we have are for that. And we don't really talk about fighting them too much, because you don't really fight them when you're a good character, But is there any ideas for that, for a gold dragon, fighting them?
A gold dragon fight?
Or dragon like adventure where like they're more of the antagonistic force,
Well, the obvious thing would be that their weakening breath makes you, just mechanically speaking, their weakening breath makes you worth its strength abilities. So people who can take advantage of that would be good. I'm always keen to point to grappling, obviously, because it's a fun mechanic that's weird and difficult to deal with, and like often sort of slips by other rules.
Yeah, it's a little overlooked.
So potentially some kind of, you could just use Dragonborn, you could use half dragons, you could use gangs of kobolds, or you could use, I don't know, they've kind of got like this dream-like future-like thing. So you could probably use more kind of ethereal creatures, like maybe even low-level celestials, things like that, potentially. And basically just have them grab the players and just muck them around, like throw them off cliffs or drop them into water, or line them up for traps or area of effect spells, things like that. Creatures fighting alongside the gold dragon should have immunity to fire, so that it doesn't have to worry about burning them.
Yep.
And something I was just thinking about was that like this dragon, and some dragons do and some dragons don't, but this dragon doesn't have any ability where it can expose itself to fire alongside the party. In other words, like it has immunity to fire for obvious reasons, but like it can't basically like explode or set itself ablaze for some kind of bonus, or like create a dangerous area of fire that like it can walk through harmlessly.
Yeah,
I think anything like that, even as simple as like for until the start of the dragon's next turn, when it breathes fire, that area is still on fire, and every creature who goes into it deck save or take some damage.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like a consistent fire, or like...
Yeah, just an area of effect, or if you wanted, you could just give it another layer action, because it's only got 2, so you could always give it like one that allows it to, maybe even draw lines of fire on the map, so that it just sort of makes the map more dangerous over time.
That sounds cool. Although 90-foot cone is huge. It's like once and the entire room is ablaze.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Maybe just specific sections, like stripes of it. have like a more concentrated stream of flame through it, whereas the rest of it is just kind of the flames licking everything else.
Actually, in that sense, a cool idea would be that the allies the dragon fights alongside get some kind of bonus for having fire breathed on them. So that the dragon actually wants to set up these kind of areas where its sort of underlings are fighting the party, and then it breathes fire on all of them, but its underlings are empowered by this.
They deal extra fanaticism damage.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah.
There you go.
Not really. Like gold dragons are fine so far. Not really my favorite metallic dragons, to be honest. I feel like all the other guys have a personality that jumps out at you when you read those first few paragraphs. You know?
Yeah, I get that. Will I give you some stuff you might enjoy? Will I slip you a wee spicy bit from the 4th edition books? Some cool actual powers.
You know what? I'll take that. Yeah, I might throw that on the order.
All right.
I'd love that.
So firstly, the ancient gold dragon, and actually I think every dragon past a certain age, they have an aura called Weakening Flames, which is that each creature that starts within, it would be, I think, 25 feet, but you could probably shrink that. Or not, whatever. Each enemy that enters the aura or starts to turn there either takes fire damage or is weakened. So obviously in 4th edition, weakened was a condition, but in the context of 5th edition, we could simply use the same rules as the weakening breath. That's fine. It does something at the start of dragons every turn, punishes melee attackers, which I'm not particularly interested in doing because, boy, they have a hard enough time anyway. Huh?
Oh yeah, god
damn. That dragon can fly really fast. My favorite ability is the very last one. It is called Burning Tomb, and it's an area burst. So it's like a big kind of a grenade explosion at a distance almost.
Okay.
So when it hits you, you are immobilized. Save ends. Immobilized works exactly the same as it does in 5th edition. And so basically then, like I said before, it creates a zone of fire that actually lasts until the dragon's next turn. And the dragon can effectively spend the equivalent of a bonus action to persist the zone so that it stays. Any creature that starts to turn in the zone takes fire damage. So, in fact, it's like that thing I described, basically creating dangerous areas on the map that the dragon can, walk through unharmed, but punish the players and therefore create a difference in the battle map for the two sides of the battle. You could do something like that. And obviously the fact that the initial ability immobilizes you as well as surrounds you in fire means that you have a very immediate problem that you need to solve, which is actually kind of fun. I like stuff like that. I actually have a sort of a fondness for whenever an ability like immediately creates a problem the players have to solve. It's sort of because it forces everyone to sort of like, instead of just going like, well, next turn I'm just going to go up to the dragon and attack it because that's the best thing to do. Like if it's like, okay, well, Grog the half-orc has been trapped in a flame prison and he's going to die if you don't do something. And now suddenly your turn isn't just going to be making 3 attack rolls. It's going to be, well, actually, you know what? I can use I'm going to use my racial feature that gives me a bonus to shove, and I'm going to shove him out of the flame, right? And suddenly you're playing D&D.
Yeah.
By Jove, he's done it.
Kind of adding something else to do during the fight, and a bit of a, not just let me attack this like HP bag and get rid of the HP from the HP bag,
Let me reduce this number by a number.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's engaging. That's really engaging.
Now you're really playing game.
Now that's what I call pod racing. Now you're playing with power.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think they are lacking a character, as Mikey was saying earlier. Like everyone else has a little bit of life and like personality to them, whereas the dragon gets like, it does stuff and it stays away from people, and sometimes it helps them, and it is a dream magic boy or something.
And it doesn't really want anything except enough food to eat, but it doesn't eat that much food. So it kind of just doesn't need to do anything.
Yeah, it just kind of exists.
I was just going to say, so what kind of personality will we give it then? What should be the gold dragon's thing?
It appears to be relatively playful to my eyes. Like, besides its kind of weird specification that it is reserved in its shapeshifting, it seems to be kind of a fun creature. Like, it has the imagination ability to bring you into this weird world, this weird fantasy world that it has created in its own mind. And it also has this cool opalescent light that allows you to, it like warns you of other things. So it seems kind of helpful and playful to me.
Yeah.
I think that it would be willing to help people. I mean, it's completely the opposite of what I came into this episode expecting to think a gold dragon would be like. I expected them to be the wise, distant philosophers, but from what they've presented us here, I think that like having them be comfortable engaging with travelers on the road, or like it said, they're like saving little children by being a little helpful creature to help it around.
Like a dog.
Yeah, like a dog. It could be. It's basically got the character of a dog. Is what I'm
Golden
saying.
Retriever.
Nice.
Golden Retriever. Yeah, very
It's a
good.
golden retriever.
I would like because it did kind of describe this in the shape shifting paragraph, but I like the idea of them kind of being just more like a big old father figure to all the humanoids of the world. You know, kind of wanting to protect them. You know, kind of being just the goodest of the good dragons. But he wants to be distant. He doesn't want to like tell everyone that he's a dragon and that he's a mystical creature. He kind of wants to be this distant protector and guardian, you know?
Yeah, that's lovely.
I like the idea of returning to its previous incarnation as creature that pursues quests of good.
Yeah.
Or pursues self-appointed quests to promote goodness.
I love that line. It's a great line.
Which is, it's just...
I'm on a self-appointed quest to promote goodness.
Promote goodness. Well, you're still fine.
I'm getting that t-shirt.
But there's an interesting kind of set of abilities they have. What's kind of interesting about it is that neither of the rule books that include these rules. So this is in 2nd and 3.5, or also, and obviously 3 as well. So in both of these editions, the dragon has 2 abilities. So firstly, it has the thing I mentioned before. It can basically create stones of good luck. If it holds onto a gemstone, it can bless it effectively.
Cool.
And if the dragon holds it, it gets a bonus, and everyone nearby gets a bonus. But if it gives the stone to someone else, then they get the bonus for a number of days as the stone discharges. It's actually a number of hours, but I think a number of days is more interesting.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting, right? Like basically the dragon can give out boons. It can give you this thing that makes you more likely to succeed at things.
Pretty sweet.
But also, as the dragon gets older, it eventually unlocks the ability to cast the gas spell, otherwise known as the quest spell. So I don't know if you guys know what that does, but basically compels you to a course of action. I think the basics level of spell in 5th edition is 30 days of length. And then it ramps up very quickly. But the basic spell is you're given a course of action you must take within the next 30 days. And any attempt you make not to do it means you have to make a saving throw or you take some psychic damage. It's actually a relatively easy thing to avoid. But in the context of the game, gas has always been a spell that basically compels you to a kind of action.
Cool.
And with that in mind, I like the idea that this dragon is on this eternal self-appointed quest of goodness or whatever, to promote goodness. And as it does so, when it meets heroes, it can strike a bargain with them where it will cast gas on them, basically compelling them to do something on the dragon's behalf, but reward them with a stone.
Cool.
And I think the reason I like it is because it's sort of eminently straightforward. It provides a choice for players and it potentially rewards them. But also, like, it's kind of, there's something interesting about the sort of compulsion, the nature that you force it on someone effectively, that the spell will punish you effectively if you don't do it. And that idea kind of reinforces the notion that it says here in the very first line of the gold dragon description, the most powerful and majestic of the metallic dragons, gold dragons are dedicated foes of evil. So that notion of making that zealotry their primary trait effectively.
Yeah, that's cool.
It makes sense that they would like imbue others with their determination to do good.
Yeah, effectively.
Yeah.
Wanting to defeat evil.
Defeat evil.
Really bad.
I'd like to defeat evil, please.
Now,
One
if you,
defeat evil, please.
now, if you get all three of our ideas and throw them into a dragon, you got yourself a good dragon there. You got yourself a gold dragon.
Welcome to Creature Club, where we share our ideas and come up with cool stuff, because that's where it all comes from. Collaboration, where we talk about each other's ideas and have fun expanding on them.
Just have a bit of crack, you know, and maybe shoot the shit while we're at it.
Yeah, go on.
Talk about our days, and then talk about a dragon, maybe. You know, man.
Maybe. I mean, that's all we do these days.
Who knows? We're approaching a feature-length Creature Club episode.
Indeed.
Here. So, as I've said, every single dragon episode, and if just in case this is your first one they listen to, we plan to talk more about dragons in a conclusion episode after we're done all the dragons.
Yes.
I think we have to do it now because I keep mentioning it. But if you have any more stuff about gold dragons that you want us to talk about, then we will do it in that episode. So send us a message there in all the different places.
Tell us now. Don't
hold it back. Let us know. But I
hold
think
back.
we're going to end it there. You guys agree with me?
Yeah,
on
I
that
think so.
Cool.
I think so.
No, I think that's fine. The only other thing I will mention, actually, and this is something we were talking about, was we recently got a comment that we had forgotten a download link under one of our episodes.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it was interesting because something I said to you guys was like, I would have never known that the download links were used much if people hadn't said, oh, by the way, these aren't working. So if there's a way that you use to listen to our podcast and it's not working as easily as you'd like, or there's a way you maybe like us to implement the podcast that makes it easier to listen to on your behalf, drop a comment somewhere or send us an email. Because we do listen to that stuff and we try to make it as easy as possible. And to be honest, like I think we've said this before, but I have no idea how people listen to podcasts in this day and age. So
I have no idea.
I
had no idea people actually listen to this podcast. So having someone go like, "Hey, it's not working." Like, hold on, who are you? What are you doing?
Basically, you're like,
suddenly
wait, what?
I'm terribly afraid. Wait, what are you doing here?
It's like you're in a shed in your underwear. Like, who's that?
But also shooting this audio file out into the ether, into the void.
So yeah, basically, just as a heads up, if you are like, you know what, this podcast is great, but it would be better if it was on insert whatever platform you listen to podcasts on.
Yeah,
but
Daniel, let us know, because
Daniel, what mediums could they use to contact us?
That's a great question, Tim. Thanks for setting me up. If you would like to get in touch, you can go to our website, which is https which is creatureclubpodcast.com. You can see the episodes there where they get uploaded. You can comment below each episode, or you can use the contact us form to contact us in a more general sense. It's kind of useful for sort of short form comments. And I don't think you need to put in any like details. I think optionally you can put in your email. I hope it's optional.
Yeah, we'll make sure it's optional.
Yeah, actually, I will double check and try to make it optional. If you have a longer form question or a submission like a homebrew monster, you can use our email, which is creatureclubpodcast@gmail.com. Just send anything big you got there, and we've all got it on our phones and linked up. And the modern age is a pretty cool thing sometimes. So we'll see it.
So you could send us a message from like all the other side of the world, and we just get it on our phone.
You can fax us.
You can fax us right now.
You can fax us.
Every side of the world.
We won't get it because I don't know how to use fax. Or if you have something short and snappy to say, because brevity is the soul of wit after all, you can go to Twitter, which is the place of lots of brevity but very little wit, at Creature Club Pod. And we always mention there whenever we upload an episode, so you can comment below that, and we'll probably all see it.
Yeah.
And if you're not on Twitter, good job. Like, you win.
You win.
You've avoided another modern day garbage fire.
Yeah. That's that, really.
That's just about it.
Yeah.
If you like dragons, let us know. If you think dragons are pretty
love
cool.
dragons, man. They're the best.
Yeah.
Not just in D&D.
Let us know.
I just did, Mikey.
Yeah.
All right, let us know again on our contact us form on creatureclubpodcast.com.
I will do that.
All right. I think we're done here, guys. We're done. Nothing to plug.
Just about.
Nothing to plug, is there?
All right, we're done here.
Yeah.
No applause. Just fucking flick the lights off and we all walk out of the
they're good, aren't they?
empty theater.
Wait.
Send
the applause. There it is.
send your recipes to Daniel at Daniel.
Oh, I love recipes.
Yeah. Daniel.com.
No, send your recipes to Daniel
No
wherever
idea.
we are on the Twitter at Big Red Dog.
That's me.
And just through all the other places we've mentioned already on the Creature Club stuff.
I made pizza dough from scratch, and I made enough pizza dough for 4 pizzas. So me and Leanne had pizzas 2 nights in a row, and it was great.
Jesus. I had a pizza today actually, but I didn't make my own pizza dough. I just bought a pizza base.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Whatever's easiest for you. Like I just do it sometimes because it's kind of the thing. See, this is the secret thing they don't tell you. The best thing about pizza dough is the recipe I use uses beer, but it uses a half a can. So the other half of the can goes to me. Cheeky half can. Bit of pizza. It's nice. It's good.
Like it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm gonna have a half a can.
Whatever. There's no rules.
No rules. No rules when you're cooking.
It's my kitchen. I can do what I like.
I went to Daniel.com and I couldn't find anything. It didn't bring up a page. And then I put in www.daniel.com and it brought me to Emerson.com and some guy called Daniel delivering advanced insight and exceptional measurement reliability during the most challenging fiscal measurement applications.
Brand synergy.
Well, this episode is dedicated to you, Daniel.
There you
Anderson.
go,
I hope you have a
Daniel.
great day.
Yeah. And that is that. That's Creature Club, guys.
Yes.
We're going to end it there. Thank you so much for listening. Next week we will talk about more dragons.
Silver dragons.
Silver dragons. It will be the
God.
last of metallic dragons, but we have 2 more after that.
We
Silver,
can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
I don't know if we're dying or getting out of this cave.
silver dragons are actually my favorite metallic dragons. I actually don't know much about them,
that's
but
good.
they're always my favorite of the metallic dragons anyway. So I
Well,
hope
that's something to look forward to.
I hope they live up to my expectations. So thank you very much, guys. I have been Mikey.
I have been Tim.
And I have been Daniel.
Why don't you just stay cool?
Why not?
I'm trying something
Why
different,
don't
guys.
why don't you just...
Yeah, trying to be a little bit more sassy with it, kind of be like a bit,
Yeah.
kind of just a bit cool for the younger audience,
Bit of
Yeah,
sauce
yeah,
on it,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. Fucking edgy humor, that's good stuff.
Why don't you just stay cool? Might make a song out of it as well, kind of do a bit of that.
Yeah, man.
Bit of
You just stay.
Bit of doo-wop.
yeah, bit of
Why don't you just...
Why don't you just
Why don't you just stay?
We're still fucking recording. Can we stop?
yeah, we can if you want. Great. Tim,
I shall begin.
Tim, begin.
Yeah, good man.
Oh god, I'm going on sleep mode. All right.
What?
My computer was going on sleep mode for a second, but now I'm fine.
Oh, jeez. You don't want that happening.
Fucking hell. That'd
Move
be
your
mad.
mice. Move your mouse every 20 minutes.
I will move my mice.
Move your multiple... You have multiple mice plugged in, I assume. I don't know
that's
why you
God.
would. One for each hand.
We'll never get through this episode. Editing this is going to be fucking hell.
Leave it all in. Leave it all in.
It'll be in at the end of the episode.
No, leave some
Ancient-
goofs in there. Leave some goofs
Yeah,
in
of
there.
course.
I hate you.
Ancient
No, I
gold
don't. I love you.
dragon.
Why are you, what's going on? That's enough.
Christ.
Okay, I'm
It's
done.
very
I'm
hot
done.
and cold today, Mikey.
I'm done. I'm done.